Boom. I think that was almost perfectly on time. Welcome, this is Tokyo Tonight. This is me. I'm leaving it in the ultra wide mode because it's too zoomed in and I can't adjust the camera properly. And hell, I kind of like it if you can see my setup here, which you can like this. So yeah, I am now broadcasting as I do with the after party. I'm broadcasting from my iPhone actually over here. So yeah, you get better colors. You can see my blue eyes and all of that sort of thing. So I'm sticking to this. I hope you've all had a great week. It's great to see. Wow, we've got already so many people in here. I've got to figure out if I've got the mic thing here. Wow, I've got so many people already in the comments. Thanks to everybody who kept me company for the pre-party which I set up on Tokyo Digital Crew channel. Where I just played music that I'd bought in the last week, and I will be doing an after party. And because I've got my new music playing out of my system, yeah, just hit me with your requests in the after party, like last week. Yeah, Mondays have been tough for me with this, so I will stick to keeping it to 45 minutes for the after party, finishing at 12:15 at night. It is late at night. But yeah, who we got in here? We've got Cobras Tenchi, hat trick 3 times, first today, made it in first. Congratulations, Cobras Tenchi. We've got Dan, Yo-Yo, we've got Void Theft in here third. Yuri the Best in from Kiev, great to have you with us. Welcome. Sadiq, glad that you can make it in from Florida. Black Tengu in from Athens, great. Wow, got everybody in here. Oscar Hafstad, haven't seen you for a while. Budding Spring in Norway. It's kind of funny, we're now at the stage where it still is spring technically in Tokyo, but it kind of feels like we're getting a little bit into sort of muggy summer. We're in early, you can sort of see signs of rainy season, which doesn't start until May here, but yeah, we're about to get into May. So it's going to be summer here soon, but there's beautiful flowers out all around the neighborhood at the moment. I don't know what they're called, the pink ones that are everywhere, the pink ones, you know, not the cherry blossoms, different flower. Anyway, flowers everywhere. So we've definitely got spring here. I'm sure it's lovely there in Norway. Oh, you know, Sakura Festival in Oslo. That's pretty cool. Yeah, in fact, I just saw some news that this week up in Hokkaido as well. So I guess you've got the same sort of seasonal thing up there. Tadom, we've got Tadom. Great to see you. Looking at the Netflix logo in the middle of your name reminds me. I have not seen all of the new episodes of Black Mirror yet, but I have enjoyed. As I always do. So enjoying all of that. We've got Aaron, our moderator, in the house. Great to have you. Boom, indeed. LFG, liquid petroleum gas, I believe. Canada, famous for it, along with Believe in Yourself, famous for many things, Canada. Everybody, happy spring, everybody indeed. You notice I made the thumbnail, a spring thumbnail. By the way, tell me, I'm always adjusting things. Should I use the punched in camera or should I use the punched out camera? This is the punched in camera and this is the normal camera without distortion. I guess I need to sort of lower my chair a little bit because the camera stand, I've got it on. I guess if I do this, well, this way you've got more of my face. I don't know. What do you like to see the surroundings or do you like to see my mush? Anyway, punching in there. Who else we got? We got Lara in here saying hello to everyone. We also have from Tokyo. We have definitely give a like to the video while you wait patiently. I was on time. I was on time today. You saw that. This is another good thing about doing the pre-party is I was 20 minutes late to the pre-party, but I was because I'm already set up and I'm already set up for the after party. So this makes all the transitions easier. So having kind of a no pressure pre-party is actually pretty good like that. So greetings from Panama. Wow, everybody knows each other's catchphrases. This is like Seinfeld. No need to fear. Exactly. Yes, everybody's pre-reading. I like that. And I'm glad that you are hopefully enjoying a coffee there in this fine morning in Panama. Coffee kampai, indeed. Wow, everybody knows Shubis. Dreary season and gloomy for some reason in Panama. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I guess it has to happen sometime. Who else we got in here? Wow, we've got, and you know what? I cannot read that off the top of my head. It's, I cannot. Hajimemashite. Anyway, great to see you. Konnichiwa. Hajimemashite. Tanoshimi. Wow, I feel like I've got to and I can't copy and paste. Oh, this is killing me. I can't read your name. It's like a name, but it's something Hihara Sen. Wow. Yeah, that's a challenging kanji name for me. So anyway, welcome. Great to have you in here. 本当はなんか昔はこれ日本語でやってたんだけど、でも日本人がたくさん見ても何もコメントとか反応しないからちょっと楽しくなくて、英語圏が喋るから、でも本当はね、で、I'm also looking forward to all this AI stuff that's coming out that can like simultaneously dub you in multiple languages really well, even though I actually like speaking. I mean, if I did it like that, I could actually, it'd be kind of fun doing the stream in Japanese and having it real time dubbing me into English. And the 11 Labs one actually dubs you where it even like keeps your original voice. So it's like it'd be using my vocal cords, but I could like speak with a Scottish accent in my own voice translated from Japanese. That would be awesome. I would love to do that. Anyway, great to have you. And welcome. Great to have someone joining from Japanese. Yes, indeed. We got Irashai. Welcome. Yokoso. Can we make any requests for the after? Yes, Black Tengu, the whole thing. You can make them now, but honestly, I'll forget. So make them in the after party. But the after party is all requests. So you can request anything. I'm not even that uptight on BPM. So definitely do that if you've got something. My only request is I like stuff with a beat. You know, when you're DJing and it doesn't have a beat, it kind of, you know, goes all over the place. But yes. Azaleas, says Lara. Are they the flowers that are everywhere? I've seen them like all along the roads and everything right now. And yeah, they look really good. You don't really think of anything other than cherry blossoms, but and hydrangeas are everywhere. But yeah, these flowers that are out right now are pretty cool. So yes, azaleas. Hokkaido just had a heavy winter return. I did not hear about that. I've not been keeping up to date with that. Boom! Hit the punch button, says Aaron. Definitely punch the punch button. Do all of that thing. Hit the punch card. I do appreciate that. Remember, I'm not monetizing the videos. Try to make it, I try to lower the barrier to resistance of you watching this as much as possible. Yeah. Ida, great to have you in from Denmark. I love we've got people from everywhere. And I know what LFG stands for. I was just suddenly thinking, well, you know what? I mean, who cares really? But we're not quite up to the fucking stage of the stream. I mean, that comes about 35 minutes. There is actually a thing with YouTube that if you say profanity in the first like 30 seconds, you can get like dinged. But if you say it like 50 minutes in, it won't do it. It's this idea that I think kids only have attention spans of like, 2 minutes. So long as you're PG for the first 2 minutes, you can pretty much say whatever you like after that. At least that was the story like 10 years ago, apparently, when they used to scream for that sort of thing. I think we're definitely at the let's fucking go part of the live stream. So yes, that is now okay. Anyway, great to see we've got Eric Bailey's in here, so we can't stop. Chiaki, I should be able to read Chiaki. Nice to see you, Chiaki, and excellent to have you in here. Ah, I see. Okay, I see the character. Yeah. Wow, your kanji is like uses rare characters, but yes, it's great to have you in here anyway. Lara is saying hello to Chiaki, all of that. 日本語でもいいよ。全然、まあ、日本語でやろうか。いや、マジで、like, if you look back at my channel, for the first like 4 or 5 years, it was like, my thing was like, I was the guy who spoke good Japanese. And I think I still speak it pretty well. So there we go. Imagine me speaking with Morgan Freeman's voice. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But no, the cool thing about 11 Labs is it'll take my voice and it'll transfer it into any accent or any language, speaking it naturally with my voice. So it sounds literally like I have learned that language fluently. And I love to, I want YouTube, like their Gemini AI models like advertise this, but they don't integrate it into YouTube, which is annoying to me. I want all of that stuff available. Hydrangeas, that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Thank you. I'm bad at flowers. Yes, we need a stream spoken 100% Kiwi or completely in sheep. I feel like I'm back in Australia now. Thank you. Yes. Well, Kiwi, we actually do have a language in New Zealand, and Maori was something we just learned at school and you didn't hear anywhere. But lately when I go back, I hear it on TV. Like people actually speak it properly now. So it's like Welsh. The language was going to die out and it got really properly revived. So I guess I could say tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora, good to have you all here. Che. I could throw in some Kiwiisms, although I know you'd all be really confused. PB, great to have you in here. We've got a banana, butter, and a squirrel and a rabbit. Perfect. But you don't have a boom. You got to have an explosion in there. Although having that could be seen as violence towards the... maybe boom and then banana and then butter. Yes, indeed. PB, bananas, even into a New Zealand accent. I don't know if I could do a New Zealand. I don't know that I could do a New Zealand accent. I mean, a real New Zealand accent. You guys haven't heard me do a real New Zealand accent. I get told I sound like a South African now, which is just from trying to speak perfectly. The rabbit, I think it was a squirrel. Anyway, rabbit, sheep, same. That's right. Okay, we're now caught up. I went through and reviewed topics just before the stream, and there are a lot of things to talk about, of course. As we said in the title, rice, AI, koalas, cameras, and more. It's all going off here in Japan. So let's jump in. Gaiji Mummy first. She is back making animations. I haven't actually had a chance because I don't have access to the New York Times, but apparently a long-time Japan resident, and I remember this guy, Pico Aya. He's written posts for the NYT before, where he talks about how problems. I think what is the whole thing again? He's mansplaining. Many cultures borrow Japan transforms, and apparently he admits, like in the start of the article, that he doesn't actually. He's lived in Japan for like 20 years, but he doesn't speak Japanese. Which is, I don't know. I don't like to, I don't judge people necessarily who live in Japan and don't speak English. There's all sorts of reasons that people can live in Japan. The rabbits must be huge, and they are huge, and they are, well, they're cute, but we shoot them anyway because there are too many of them. Lots of people live in Japan, and because they work in jobs, they come here as adults, come here as professionals where they work in English all day, they work in, international circles, or they're teaching English or whatever, and they don't learn Japanese because they don't get a chance to really, they're never forced to like immerse themselves the way that you do when you go into a country and you have to really, sink or swim in the language. And you got a lot of people who can be highly functional for a long time in Japan, and I'd say can be fairly well informed while being here, but you are missing out on something definitely. And, there is a thing in Japan which is there's kind of a line. Japan, on a lot of these things, I've lived here. Of course, I've lived here most of my life now. So I think Japan, when it comes to bullying, as we know, Japan has a problem with bullying. But at least when Japan bullies people, they do it with more logic and a better sense of fairness vis-a-vis bullying than I think Western countries have. For example, while for example, Japanese will bully people for being fat and bully people, they won't bully people for being short. They will bully people for being bald. So that is probably not fair, or at least where they have the barcode hairstyle, which is just the most hilarious description for a for a hairstyle and appropriate. So okay, some slip through the net, but the point is, you can make people, when you bully people for having tattoos or for being fat, but you can't bully them for having short, stumpy legs. That's very hurtful and is kind of taboo. You also can't bully people. The rule is that you can bully people for things that they have control over, that are based on life choices that they have made, but you can't bully people for things that they have had no control over. So it's something like your height, or something like, your legs, or something like, literally being incredibly ugly. Japanese will not actually say you're ugly. And it's not even taken as that much of an insult to say, well, actually it is an insult to point out to someone that they got old. But yeah, so even getting old, you can't make fun of someone for getting old because that's something that they can't control. But someone who is in Japan and has decided to not learn Japanese, you can go for broke on them. And same if someone decides to eat too many Twinkie bars, Japan will say, hey, having a few too many Twinkie bars there. And I know that this is sort of shocking and politically incorrect. The tattoo bullying as well, I know it's seen as sort of politically incorrect, but in the end of the day, the things that you choose to do, and I suppose with extreme effort, to some extent reversible. So yes, Leiji Mummy making fun of a guy living in Japan for not speaking Japanese. Some would say it's bullying, but I would say in Japan this is in the category of fair and allowed bullying. He's done the linguistic equivalent of eating too many Twinkie bars. He just stayed in his language and lived in Japan, but is still commenting as an expert, which actually takes it a little bit beyond. I mean, that's like a fat person pretending to be a skinny person in Japan, which would also be considered fair game. Short legs is definitely tansoku. Now I've told you, never say tansoku, because it is a terrible insult, which means nothing, of course, to me as an English speaker, but apparently it is terrible. Do you have control over balding? That's a good question. Well, I suppose if you shaved it off on your own willingly, yeah, then you could justifiably get a hard time. I think balding is it, but you don't really hear that much about it nowadays. But yes, due control. I think that's nature taking its course. And I'm perfectly comfortable with all of that. What has Trump done to keep his hair? Yes, I mean, how many squirrels had to die for Trump's hair? We should be asking questions about that. And that was a conscious choice. So I'd say, I mean, seriously, embrace it, right? Although I don't want to be giving any sort of advice to that person, or I think we should have something like the Pope's funeral for the squirrels that passed away in order to become his hairpiece. Did I know? Yeah, Dan H asking thoughts on Akio Toyota's trying to privatize, buy out Toyota Industries and Toyota Motor. I just saw that today, actually. No particular thoughts other than I could understand. I don't know exactly what's behind that, but yes, Peanut. They killed Peanut, and now we know what happened to him. So with Toyota, there's been a couple of scandals to the Toyota adjacent companies. Daihatsu first, Hino Motors, the truck company, where they've had all these sort of quality things, which basically the whole brand of Toyota is to have exceptional reliability and quality. And when you have brands that Toyota has sort of taken over and run, and when they really undermine the Toyota brand by, in the way that Hino has, in a way that pulls down, that they've had to recall vehicles, and it really pulls down the reputation of the whole company when Toyota has to recall the Hino trucks. I think there's probably a feeling in the family that it's not being run right. And this is also the thing. This is purely my speculation, but the old story is like with Steve Jobs being run out of his own company, out of Apple. I mean, if only the same thing were possible with Tesla. But when founders get run out by shareholder boards that just decide that they can run the company better. And you can sort of see when the Toyota family is wealthy enough and they feel like it's not being done well enough, it's kind of understandable that they might want to take control back and not run the company. I think the shareholder governance model is something in the West is considered pretty standard, but in Japan, this idea that companies should be run by themselves, or at least for the founders, the idea that founders can take it back. Founders in Japan often want to take companies private and run them privately just so that they can pay themselves more money without being socially judged by it. But so I don't know what the specific motivations of the Toyota family here are, but certainly the Toyota brand, while still very, very strong, I mean, top car brand in the world at the moment, is definitely going down at the moment. And I'm sure that since their name is printed on every single car, certainly the family would be concerned about whether the board of Toyota is actually running the company properly. I also recall that Akio Toyoda specifically is a race car driver. He's a performance car guy. He believes passionately in having like attractive cars and so on. And I think that while Toyota has certainly made its reputation off the Corolla and having reliable, not such exciting cars, they've always had these sort of flagship cars, which I think are important. The Halo brand cars. I think he's a great advocate for those sorts of things. He's passionate actually about the cars themselves being appealing. So perhaps they're not happy with how it's being run. I don't know the story. I don't know if they'll be able to actually buy. I mean, Toyota is one of the biggest companies in the world, so I don't know how a family could buy that. Even the founding family could take it back, but certainly it would be interesting. Turkey was well compensated for Trump's hair. I don't think that he got implants. It's funny, by the way, on the implants, I've seen some YouTubers actually go and get those. I mean, I think that's even where Musk got his hair done, right? Got the surgery in Turkey. So. Thank you, Turkey. I've just decided I've got a pretty good shaped skull. I get complimented. Japanese always compliment me on having a round head, which is a funny thing because I think Japanese do generally have larger heads, and often they're laid as babies. They're laid on their backs, like on futons on the floor, and that often results. A lot of Japanese have like flat backs of their heads just from when they were babies and the heads were soft. They just get shaped by being put down on these sort of harder surfaces. And they grow up having these real complexes. So one reason a lot of Japanese don't like losing their hair is they don't like it showing the shape of the back of their head. It's a complex a lot of Japanese have. And when I was losing my hair, when it was thinning out, and I started early, I preemptively started getting the 3mm cut. I'd get compliments like, "Wow, the shape of the back of your head is really good." And I was like, "That's a very specific compliment that I'm not sure if you're messing with me or not." They're like, no, it's good. And yeah, I've had it enough now to understand it. So I'm pretty comfortable with how I am. But yeah, PB saying, maybe it's your eyes or your screen, but it felt like the X4 made my legs look paler when I was running. Earlier today, you would have seen I would have posted a video. I did get, boom, I got this, the Insta360 X5. The X4, by the way, is going off to a bit. I've already shipped it off, but I thought I'd go for a run holding both at the same time. Wow, if the X4 made my legs look paler, I mean, I've got like pure like Northern Scottish Islands stock legs, so they're already struggling for any hint of melanin. I don't know. It's like how can you make something that's already almost completely devoid of pigment even look whiter? That's disturbing. I didn't notice that particular aspect, but I did notice the X5 is marginally better, but honestly, even in that sort of twilight conditions, the X4 is still great. So I would actually say the conclusion of my review that you can see, I just recorded the side-by-side video and posted it without giving my own conclusion on you should buy this. I love the X360 cameras, and if you don't have one and you're interested in one, by all means. But you know what? I reckon the X4 and the X5 are so close, as you'll see in the video that I posted earlier today. If you can get the X4 on a sale, because now there's a new model out, if you can get that like really cheap, I would go for the cheaper X4. And that's what I did. I actually sold it. Should I say? I might as well say Victor. I'm giving the X4 to Victor, although Victor's compensated me a little bit for it, which was enough for me to justify, okay, I'm gonna get the upgrade and do both of them. So I know it's going to a good place where I know it's going to be put to good use. So looking forward to that. And I get the new camera, but that's right. Even in low light, this will apparently work at night. So that's pretty cool. It's got a bigger sensor, but they look pretty much identical to me. But yeah, interesting to see your reaction, PB. Thanks for sharing. Black Tinker's read Pico Aya's book, The Lady and the Monk, 4 Seasons in Kyoto, many moons ago. Okay, well, yeah, maybe people are making fun of him a little bit unjustifiably, but rabbits lift their lips and expose their incisors to gather scents. Okay, I don't know anything about that. Debated going to Korea to get your hair done. Oh, like cosmetically or like just brushed, styled? I'm pretty sure that'd be. I mean, I'd love to have like hair like those Korean guys do. See, CBGB. I always understood it was a hairpiece. Yeah, that's why I was saying dead squirrels. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they got the dead squirrel, and they got some Turkish people to stitch it into the skull. I mean, that would be, wow, that would be, talk about a Viking funeral. Anyway, we've only done one story and we're 20 minutes in. Let's keep going. Oh yeah. So we've got a documentary made by, was it Felicity Tilak documentary, which I've just added to my playlist that I saw JJ Wash was promoting. So I retweeted that. Other news, in Japan, most police and government workers, so for example, firefighters, ambulance workers, police, are not allowed to enter convenience stores. They're not allowed to buy drinks from vending machines. Like you have firefighters fighting fires, dehydrated, and when they go and buy like a sports drink from a vending machine beside the fire, some old lady will see it and complain to the city council that on taxpayer-funded time, he is personally drinking a sports drink, probably to save his own life so that he can continue fighting fires. And people sort of have this idea that, yes, you shouldn't be, anything non-uniform, including sunglasses. And you talk about a place like Tokyo or Kyoto, which is hotter than Tokyo. In summertime, you've got these concrete jungles that are reflecting heat and light, and there's no shade. And these police officers sit out there in 40 degrees and 90% humidity, blinded. And they're not allowed to wear, and they're not allowed to like buy drinks from vending machines. Again, they've just started easing these rules because they're literally police officers pass out on the job and probably getting, damage to their eyes. So apparently 90% of officers say that, yeah, I would like a pair of sunglasses, please. So they're going to do that. I mean, I hope they don't turn into the Oakley ICE deportation agent type. I hope they don't turn into those types immediately, but I think they're certainly entitled to not go blind for any reason other than something they enjoy. So yeah, another thing that's gone viral in Japan this week is Zespri, New Zealand company, New Zealand kiwi fruit. The company that was so successful at marketing kiwi fruit that instead of everybody thinking that kiwi fruit are from New Zealand, they thought that New Zealand was named after the kiwi fruit, which is an example of New Zealand marketing being overly successful. The latest kiwi fruit ad, which is a quasi horror movie of a mother being burned and terrified by the psychological burden of preparing vegetables for the bentos for the kids and having to boil them. Instead, Dancing Kiwi has to The whole ad is that, why don't you just put a kiwi fruit in the lunchbox, which saves you all of that stress and trouble. And here they are being terrified and chased in a horror movie from all the vegetables. And the kiwis say, we can solve your problem. They've got 10 types of vitamins in them. And now the kiwi fruit are knocking down buildings, chasing after the mother cat. And everybody's happy because, the mother doesn't have to do it. I mean, this is a horror film, but apparently it got the desired. It went viral on Twitter. Both people being terrified and thinking, you know what, I should eat more kiwi fruit. So mission accomplished. New Zealand taking over the world. Except nobody knows that we did it. So that is a problem. Police wear sunglasses. They might be mistaken for Yakuza. Honestly, if you listen to police talk, they might be mistaken for Yakuza, especially in Kansai. There's nothing. Sometimes videos go viral of when police raid Yakuza headquarters, and the police, when they always talk a bit tough. When they go, they come in with the battering rams and they knock on the door and they sort of say, "Oh, come out of the damn building!" Yeah, And the way that they speak is that people always comment, "Oh my god, I can't tell which." The Yakuza when the police raid the headquarters. I think there's like this huge macho contest of like the Japanese police. Like Yakuza are famous for speaking in this sort of gruff, macho sounding voice, this old fashioned samurai. They sound like they're trying to be in a Kurosawa movie as like they're all trying to be leading characters in a Kurosawa samurai film. All the Yakuza guys cling on to the idea that there's some sort of, samurai sort of culture remnant. And so the police, wanting to show somehow that they've got the bigger balls while they're arresting them, also try to outdo them in Kurosawa movie samurai impersonations. And the result is they're all like, they're all, you can barely make out what they're saying. So the sunglasses are not even necessary. They would completely, just the way that they talk. By the way, Christopher Luke, great to see you in the comments. I saw you earlier. I don't think I shouted you out. So definitely. If you ever want to be mistaken for a Yakuza, which I don't advise doing, or a Kyoto police officer, definitely watch a few Akira Kurosawa samurai movies and try to speak like the leading characters. Hilarious as tourists go, and remember the majority of tourists, and indeed the majority of foreigners in Japan, are Chinese people. Hilarious. Chinese man climbed Mount Fuji, suffered altitude sickness near the summit, had to be rescued by helicopter from Mount Fuji. However, he left his phone behind, so he went up and tried climbing up again to go get it, and then he had to be rescued again. Don't be that guy. By the way, I didn't realize that you could even climb Mount Fuji yet. I thought the mountain doesn't actually open like until summer. It's still covered in snow right now. I mean, you can see it on a clear day. It's getting a little bit hazy right now, but you can actually see it out the window at the moment. And it's still, it's still covered in snow. So it would be like from all sorts of, not just the altitude sickness, it's freezing cold and dangerous on there right now as well. But yeah, Peter Nankaro asks, when they go, how do you think they have high-pitched voices? What do you mean high? I think they have low-pitched voices. They talk like this. Are you talking about the anime voices? I mean, even on anime, you think about the men, they always try to sound extra macho. The women go all the way up there. I mean, I would pay money to hear a Japanese policewoman like going to a Yakuza office speaking like an anime character. That would be, I think they would open the door just out of confusion. That would be a much better way to go into it. But yes, that's right. It sounds like it must be climbing out of season. Okay, I'm going to quickly open it up. What does it say here? Right. 崩して、体調崩して, but it's saying Hachigo. So, okay, they were only going up to the 8th hut. So I guess they weren't able to go, but they got up there and then they called the 911 number in Japan, which is 110. Technically, it's the police number. So Shizuoka, yeah, they rescued him. It doesn't say anything about the mountain being closed, but I'm pretty sure it's closed right now. Oh, here we go. Oh, 25日に冬の閉鎖が解除されたばかり. So apparently the mountain was just was open on the 25th. Oh, which is, but yeah, it's on a particular route. It was just open on the 25th. Is what they're saying. So yeah, like he celebrated the being allowed onto the mountain. Although it says that he went up there, I don't know. So the mountain's just been opened, but which seems early to me, but there you go. Anyway, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy is the lesson. Microsoft is rolling out Windows Recall to the public, which is the thing where they make the computer remember everything that you've ever done and looked at on your computer and uses it as to build a profile of you to be able to speak to you helpfully, which everybody immediately said hell no, and made me think, honestly, maybe I'll just jump to a Mac at this point. They've re-released it where apparently you opt in. So yes, if you want Microsoft to know everything that you look at, that you use your computer for, that's great. Just turn on Total Recall. Turn on the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure if that's a great idea. It does remind me as well when ChatGPT suddenly introduced itself and said, by the way, I've been listening to you and remembering everything you've ever asked me all along. I'll prove it to you. And it was kind of like, well, that's very, very cool. But okay, now I might not be asking you for so much advice. Like the fact that, for example, I asked ChatGPT for advice on my joke mistaken cancer diagnosis that I got in America. I'm not sure I want a company casually just having my cancer diagnosis, and all of my medical notes, which I fed to it to help me read, for example. So yeah, we're going into an age again where I think we have to think about how much we're sharing with the tools that we're relying on to help us with our day-to-day stuff. So there we go. Mac is doing it as well as of last month. Okay, so I guess everyone's doing it. There we go. I mean, I guess being well, like having something understand you well is the next thing. But yeah, a couple of articles, including there's an article from Unseen Japan talking about how otaku goods, specifically people importing things from Japan right now, Japanese trading companies with the tariffs like fluctuating, both changing day to day as well as changing. Well, I'm really curious what that's about, although I'm going to try potato dono. Okay, anyway, I can't look at that right now. With the tariffs going all over the place, which are effectively, I mean, in terms of from a consumer perspective, they're a charge which gets levied on a product, basically at the point of sale. Well, is it at the point of sale? It goes on to the price. The importer has to pay the levy on the products. And with the tariffs all over the place in America, Japanese exporters, they don't know how to price things for America. So as a result, they are stopping shipping of anime, manga, and otaku-related supplies, including, and just generally as well for people who like tech. I mean, like, for example, my beautiful keyboard that's in front of me here, this camera. I mean, everything on this desk is made in China, and I love it. So the idea of putting 145% tariff on everything from China, I hope means that all these Chinese products will just get dumped in other countries that don't tariff this stuff, like Japan, for example, and we get them super cheap. So hopefully it'll make it even, and maybe it's an even better reason to fly to Japan, as you'll be able to go not only enjoy a cheaper yen, but you'll be able to buy stuff basically literally duty free in Japan, or at least free of all the duties that are being imposed in America. I know that Trump has the kind of twofold idea of it would encourage manufacturing of products like this in America. I don't know that I want the American version. It's like the car. Do I want the American version of the things that China does well, that would cost 5 times as much and not be as good, and probably, be 10 times bigger? So both they want to bring back manufacturing and this idea that, it will be like a sales tax. It'll be like they can use collection of tariffs to replace ultimately, income taxes. People could avoid income taxes, and the government can get all its revenues just like it used to. There used to be no income tax in the 19th century in America, and they used to collect a lot of their money off duties and tariffs. But that's effectively like a sales tax. That's like putting a massive sales tax. I don't know how people are okay with this, or people, thought this was a good idea. And I say this because, he didn't surprise anyone with this. He campaigned that he was going to do this. So I don't know quite what's going on with that for America, or how that's going to work out. And probably isn't a great time. Well, again, I mean, who knows how everything changes so much day to day, but I do hope that in Japan we're going to get cheaper goods as a result, and I can buy more cameras and stuff like that. And I think I saw the thing for Unseen Japan down here, and basically it sounds like mail order waifu are no longer being shipped. Otaku apocalypse. So yes, if you've got a mail order pillow bride that you want to ship from Japan, you better get it in there quickly because um, the US government wants a cut of it. Super cool tech. Um, I mean, yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, it's crazy, but the fact is he's penalizing U.S. consumers. I mean, it's indirectly penalizing the people who make the product, which is the target, but they're doing it through punishing people in America who buy things, which is at least half of the population. But I believe buy stuff at times. So it's an interesting popularity tactic of basically taking a baseball bat and hitting everybody who voted for you. It's a novel, and I respect the novel approach. Speaking of novel approaches, this is really cool. Apparently Adidas, I thought these things already existed, but apparently Adidas is releasing 3D printed shoes. And I thought, oh, are these going to be like custom, like scanned and printed for your feet? They are not. They're just still figuring out the technology for integrated 3D printed shoes. But I do like the idea that once you start being able to make these, I mean, they're going to be able to probably take scans and make perfectly like shaped, perfect fitting, like running shoes and stuff like that. And I'm here for that. I love this sort of tech. And I in a way, when 3D printers, came out like, geez, 15 years ago now, and everyone said that you're going to be able to manufacture, most things for yourself, including probably shoes and stuff like that. It hasn't really happened, but I'm kind of excited by this sort of advance in manufacturing technology, which again, I'm sure is happening in an affordable manufacturing jurisdiction. So I'm not worried about that. We're going to enjoy that here in Japan, but everywhere else, I don't know. Interesting one here as well that apparently, so Japan did pass Japan's first AI law this week, and it's something I've had to follow as a lawyer in tech, and frankly, kind of an AI lawyer. It's kind of my job to follow this stuff. And Japan is, long story short, where the EU passed a law that said that every AI has to be like safety tested and certified, and which is why OpenAI and a lot of AI models are blocked from Europe because the European law requires so much registration and safety testing and sort of bureaucratic red tape just to be able to make things available. So as a result, you can't, even if you intend to release in Europe and comply with the law, you need to have like 10 lawyers for every AI developer. And some people in Europe are now realizing even European startups are fleeing Europe because it's so bureaucratically challenging to be able to develop. You can't have a startup of 2 or 3 smart people because they've got to hire 10, bureaucratic sort of safety lawyers, which is great. As a lawyer, I endorse the European approach because it means more jobs for us, at least until AI takes over our jobs, which will be soon. But yeah, it's sort of it's killing the AI industry in Europe, and the result is that now Europe's saying, oh, maybe we shouldn't have decided to welcome the new AI industry baby into the world by hitting it with a hammer. So Japan sort of looked at America and looked at Europe and said, okay, we're going to pass a law which will say, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. I mean, literally, it was the Bill and Ted manifesto. It literally says, be safe, be cool, but no penalties. So party on, dudes. That's pretty much the entire Japanese AI law, which combined with the fact that in Japan, the Copyright Act, Japan's version of fair use, which is not like a vague concept like it is in America. It's written down in the statute, and literally in Japan in the copyright law, you can actually use copyrighted materials legally for data analysis. And this is like from a 50-year-old law. So they weren't thinking AI at the time, but it's made for AI. So in Japan, you can train copyrighted material for free. And Japan's AI law literally says party on, dude. So Japan's got a really AI friendly legal environment, one which leads that, like Sakana AI, for example, there's a startup. Japan's leading AI startup is a company full of Googlers from America who moved to Japan because they realized Japan's the best place to do AI. And yet, when it comes to spending on AI, Japan is like, there's a chart in this article which shows spending, in Sweden outspends Japan. Japan is like 12th in terms of AI development spending. So it's kind of funny where Japan is like welcoming of AI. There's no real fear. There's no real Black Mirror type thing. Governments are saying that they're actually, there's an article down here where the government's going to be supervising public tender bids for corruption using AI automatically. Instead of Doge, they're going to be using an AI assistant to be checking for efficiency and corruption in public procurement. So, there's this kind of open, welcoming, Japanese sort of love robots and technology and stuff like that, and they're embracing it, but yet they're not spending very much money in it, even though it's such a good environment here. So, yeah, interesting development. And I still think Japan's big handicap is, of course, its language, because at least when you're talking about AI that's developed by language models, there is so much more information available in English than there, for training and so on, and so many more users that speak English than there are obviously for Japanese. Although Japanese, apparently, in terms of the amount of material on the internet versus the number of speakers of the language, I remember I've heard a stat before that says that Japanese is among the highest ratio. Like, while Japan, there are only 120 million, or so proper Japanese speakers. In the world, Japan's linguistic presence is far, far above its weight. But even if it had the virtual presence of like 500 million people, it's still, compared to the billions of people that use Chinese, English, Spanish, other languages, it does put Japan just at a natural data-based disadvantage to other languages, which is another thing why the Japanese government is definitely keen to encourage people to invest and develop. And it's why the AI law in Japan was relatively permissive, because they realized the disadvantages that they're at. And this idea that we could all end up in a world where all this technology is only available really in English. And if you're not, in English, you already are at a significant disadvantage in this field. Although I work in Japanese tech companies, and it is amazing to me how Japanese engineers with minimal understanding of the original English documentation of a lot of Western developed technology can understand it more quickly and better than the people who invented it, and they can innovate in Japan amazingly. And kind of and independently of the Western development of different sorts of IT. And I think and I'm excited to see this happen in AI, but it's not really happening that much yet anyway. So that's the AI stuff. Hey, Sainted Sir, great to see you. Good morning, New York City. What else we got here? Rice prices went up 89% year over year last month. And this month they went up and 90%, not month to month. It was 90%. The rice prices in Japan are 90% higher in April than they were in April last year. Still, that's an inflation rate that I think right now, even like Argentinian general inflation doesn't match the inflation of Japanese rice at the moment. And while it is linked apparently to a rice harvest shortage from 2023, it's not actually a supply shortage. Normally the price goes up. You'd expect, demand is exceeding supply. There's not enough rice. But that's not actually the case. Japan deliberately overgrows and stockpiles rice, just like the EU does. And so the problem is that the rice is all in storage compounds. All this rice is basically grown by the majority of the average age of rice farmers in Japan, I believe now is well over 80 years old. Like, the people don't want to take over the family farm. So you have one problem there. But they were paid originally to overproduce rice, which goes into the sort of long-term storage. Now they're being paid to undergrow rice. But even then, all of this is still piled up. There's more. There's like 5 or 6 times more rice than is needed sitting in storage in Japan. But the Japanese government doesn't have the means to pull the rice out of the storage and distribute it to the supermarkets. And in fact, when they sell it to the distributors are actually not, and some people are saying that the distributors are deliberately holding back the supply of rice in order to get better prices. They're discovering that they can charge 90% more and get the money. So, on the one hand, the government's concerned that Japanese people are not eating enough rice and that it's going, consumption's going down. But you've also got people who are deliberately withholding the supply and profiteering off it, which is also, of course, accelerating the move away from rice for Japanese people. There's been a lot of commentary that Japanese people are eating less rice because you have to cook it. It takes a while to cook. I do like the pre-cooked rice that you can get these packs and you can put in the microwave for a minute and it comes out like it's been cooked in a proper rice cooker for 30 minutes. But compared to bread is much more efficient. That you can just open, you can open it up from a pack or just get it and eat it straight away. And it keeps for a long time, and it's basically takes zero preparation for the same amount of sort of caloric value, or you can get your carbs that way. And so a lot of people, Japanese people, especially people who are you have less housewives, you have normally couples, both people are working. People don't have the time to sit in the kitchen all day. So people are leaning towards using, potatoes and grains, which are just easier than rice to handle. So rice is becoming less popular, but it's also becoming, harder to, and it's also leading to, with the prices now, people are now cheering on. When I first came to Japan, the idea of Japanese would tell me they would never, Japanese, even if there was free importing of American and Thai rice or whatever, Japanese won't eat it because it's not the same quality. And rice is so important in Japan. But right now, with Japanese people feeling like the farmers and the government is basically screwing everybody over rice, people are cheering on imports, actually. This is the best time ever. I think this is where America has some leverage on getting extra quotas of rice being allowed, because Japanese are really pissed off with the Ministry of Agriculture mismanaging everything. I don't know if there's actually political stuff behind this, but one of the big attractions, there's a huge theme park in Wakayama near Osaka called Adventure World, which has all sorts of big rides and roller coasters and stuff. But the main attraction is, I think they've got probably the biggest and the best panda enclosure anywhere in Japan. The most famous panda enclosure is, of course, Ueno Zoo in Tokyo, but Ueno Zoo is showing its age. It's like it's like 120 years old or something like that. It is in the center of Tokyo, and you can go and see pandas there. But the place in Wakayama, I've been to myself. It is wonderful. It is panda heaven. They've got an excellent panda breeding program there, a huge enclosure. And apparently China said, yeah, we'll just take all the pandas back. And so, yeah, apparently people didn't realize that they were losing all the pandas. And this theme park that's just built around these 4 pandas, basically is like the Backstreet Boys, it's like having the Beatles in the middle of a theme park. And it's got other things as well, but people just go there to see the Beatles and hang out. And they've taken them out of the theme park, and there's nothing left. So just like China is threatening America with punishing America by withholding rare earths, they're also recalling their pandas from Japan, saying don't mess with China. And Japan says gomen China. Terrible pun that you should never say to Japanese people, because people like Chiaki will say that yes, you should not make dad jokes like that. Panda ga Nihon kara inaku natte shimau. Crying. See what you've done, China. See what you've done. You made Chiaki cry. Completely unacceptable. So China's not just selling American bonds. They're pulling the pandas. So really, all the gloves are off. Do appreciate the likes, by the way. Thank you for reminding people, Aaron. But yes. Anyway, 17 more minutes. What else have we got? Yeah, the government's just basically Japan's plugging in AI to try to look for better government efficiency on projects. Which compared to all these people who think that we're better off with human supervision, I mean, I don't know. Do you think plugging Elon Musk into the US government is better? I personally would probably go with, of course, AI can have biases and not work very well and requires human supervision and all that, but I think it's better than just having a raging asshole. I mean, of course, what if the asshole designed the AI? Which is probably the case if you think about the AI companies. So, of course, there's steps to a flaw, but at least you can prescribe requirements and be reasonable, rather than just have somebody come and cut the funding for basically people who regulate your company. So you've got that kanashi ne, Chinese Slake Manson, typical Chinese panda diplomacy. It is a little bit. I mean, on the one hand, I love my Insta360 X5, and I thank you, China, for my keyboard and for my cameras and for this and for my iPhone. I mean, hell. But at the same time, like when China said to Australia, you should help us rally against American bullying using trade. China said that with a straight face to Australia. I mean, this is the country which cut off rare earths to Japan years ago when Japan was having the dispute over those islands. When Australia said that they wanted in the United Nations to have a commission to investigate the cause of the COVID pandemic, China retaliated by basically banning Australian wine and some other imports that destroyed the wine industry in Australia. It was straight up naked trade bullying and economic coercion. So this idea, on the one hand, Um, Having a bully, coming to the kid that is beaten up, to the multiple kids that is beaten up and says, hey, will you take my side against the new bully? It's kind of like, yeah, nah. It's like you're watching a fight and you want both sides to lose in a way. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for the Chinese government anyway, saying, we must stand together resolutely against trade bullying. Yeah, you think? So yeah, they're pulling the pandas. They figured out where everybody's nerve centers are. What can you do? This I saw this getting plugged, and people at work pulled this out. Speaking of AI, Akinator, I think it's this thing where they fed it like every single. I mean, it's actually incredible. You should play. It's free. I think it's free. I think there's you can just play with it on. It's on a web page. Any character, any character. You think of the most obscure. I don't care, Japanese anime or book or any fictional or even real character. I think it even goes. It's like it knows all of Wikipedia and all of like every book ever. And you give it any character, and it will ask you questions, and it will take. Sometimes it takes more questions than others, but I don't think I've yet been able to come up with a character, an obscure character that's at least been published that it was not able to guess. It is very, very cool, and I'm here for this type of AI. Meanwhile, Japan continuing to focus on AI, and the most importantly, people are using this to like cure cancer, to find sources of energy, to solve world peace. Japan has used ultrasound and AI to learn how to gauge the fattiness of tuna. So again, I always talk about how I enjoy how Japan takes a different perspective on the same problems and the same technologies. And who knows? This could very well this could turn out to be a life-saving medical technology. But tuna first, please. Let's figure it out. I do like that. I don't know. Japan's going to hell in a handbasket. The economy's collapsing. Everybody's growing, dying of old age, and towns are being wiped out. But when we get ultrasound and AI, let's figure out the fattiness of our tuna first. And that is serious stuff. When they catch the first tuna of the season, and it's like they sell these fish for like $100,000. So you want a pretty good idea. I mean, if you want to like sing towards the fish in a high pitch and figure out like the fattiness of it, from the radiating sound waves. At least using AI to help with that. I mean, that's kind of cool. And I'm sure it would result in very, very good sushi. So yes. Aaron is thinking about pandas being clumsy and falling and rolling around like they are drunk balls, which is pretty much what they are. Is Akinator from 2007? Okay, I don't know. It's really popular, right? It's having a moment at the moment. So Christopher Luke, thank you for the correction. It's like Manson, Japan as well. They were coming in. People put sales restrictions on Chinese when people were coming in and in tour things and buying to take back. I think those sort of things have corrected somewhat, but yes, anyway, you've got all of that. Nissan, which, fought off, basically, got Carlos Ghosn arrested, and honestly, the guy's an asshole, so I don't feel sorry for him. But Nissan kind of fighting to survive, kicking out its own boss who made it profitable. I mean, for all of Carlos Ghosn's flaws, he did rescue the company that was about to go out of business and make it profitable. And since he left, it's been in the crapper again. And then when they found out that they might be about to be taken over by Honhai Foxconn, the company that makes the iPhone, and you think about the Xiaomi car, and the phone companies have made some great electric cars. They jumped into the arms of Honda. And when Foxconn went away, then they basically broke off the discussions with Honda as well. And they've just posted a 7,500 oku. So one oku yen, 100 million yen is 100 million is one oku, which is basically, in the old days when the yen was 100 yen to the dollar, that it was $1 million. But of course, right now it's like 100. The yen is going going down at the moment, or it's increasing. It's going back towards 100 at the moment. So I think we got down to 139 the other day. But that translates to about 5 billion. But Nissan posted a $5 billion loss this quarter, which had everyone in the internet saying, wow, I think, Honda probably thinks they dodged a bullet now, not rescuing Nissan. And it really looks right now like, geez, Nissan might be facing just going out of business without anyone taking them over or rescuing them. So they're having a pretty bad time at the moment. I don't know if anyone heard the story. I just heard the story today. Apparently in Australia, in Victoria, southeastern Victoria, apparently there were some forest fires, which led to a lot of trees being, lost. And over concerns that there were not enough trees to feed all the koalas, and an explosion in the koala population, which I still think are endangered and protected animals in Australia. The Victorian government decided to get some helicopters. I don't know if they were Apaches. I think they were probably regular helicopters with snipers out. But they decided to cull 700 koalas, which is a bit controversial. The Australian government going out and murdering 700 koalas. In Australia, they were like, a lot of people are against it, and people say, no, the kind thing is to save them because otherwise there's not enough food and they'll be starving. And a lot of them were burned in the bushfires. So it was the humane thing to go and kill 700 koalas. A lot of Japanese people saying, so, when Australia is giving Japan a hard time about catching minke whales, for example, non-endangered whales, because you just shouldn't be ever killing whales. They're going to go around and shoot 700 koalas out of trees from helicopters. That seems a little bit off. Certainly, I don't know. Growing up, I never imagined that. I've never heard of a koala cull before. Maybe it's happened before. And I grew up, I think, I had a toy koala. I mean, my mum's Australian. I lived in Australia as a kid. I had a toy koala as a kid. I think it was made from possum fur. It was made from some real fur of something. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't koala fur, but it looked like a koala. Actually, now I think about it, I mean, I had a koala toy growing up. But the idea of actually killing koalas for that, what can you do? Dan H, free Carlos Ghosn. No, well, Carlos Ghosn is free. He's free to go anywhere he likes in Beirut, which I've heard was a lovely, lovely city in the 1970s, early 1970s maybe. Hey, look, he hired the A-team, and he was getting red carpet treatment as the Japanese trial process goes. As much as he claims that he was a victim, he got so much better treated than anybody else, including was it Gene Kelly or whatever? Gene Kelly is the actor dancer, so whoever the other guy who was charged was. Carlos Ghosn got an easy ride, and the fact that he ran, and he ran in the way that he did, no sympathy. But yeah, Aussie pandas. So, I mean, it's one thing China, repatriating 4 pandas, but Australia shooting 700 koalas, I don't know if that's exactly on. I mentioned earlier today I did record a comparison. I took the 2 cameras out at the same time, the new model and the old model. As you can see, there's really not much difference. You got to pay like 90,000 yen, like $550 US for one of these. And I don't know, it's worth upgrading. If you can get an X4, the previous model, cheap, you can see that they're basically the same quality. There is a difference, but not that much of a difference. The thumbnail, interestingly, by the way, you can see here, honest review, not sponsored, because all the reviews that came out were all paid for by Insta360. And hell, I fell for it, and I went and bought one right away myself. So I did that, but I asked ChatGPT to make the background for the thumbnail. And I said, make it as clickbaity and attractive of views as possible. So I sort of did it as an experiment, and it sort of came out, and it was really cool. With the image of the cameras there as well, I used my iPhone, and the feature where you can like extract objects and like take it out and paste it over an image, I made it that way. And it was like, wow, actually, it looks like a clickbaity AI generated marketing campaign thumbnail that I made using AI and my iPhone. So I don't know. I was kind of impressed at myself that I managed to make a tacky, cheap product promotion thumbnail. And we'll see if, in a way, if too many people watch the test video that I made earlier today, I may need to make this entire channel AI generated and clickbaity. So watch out. And with that, I think I covered all of the planned topics for today. And we have 50 seconds left on the usual schedule program. So yeah, avoid theft. If there's a choice between X4 and X5, you'd simply choose the cheapest, which is the X4. I mean, not the X4 itself is still expensive, but I think now that the new one is out, there's going to be tons of sales. So I would go for that. So yeah, what else? How do you make the most of your commute in Japan? This is one thing. When I go to America and I see all the people like exhausted from driving, I am really glad to be in a place where I've got a 50-minute commute, mostly sitting on the train. But I can watch YouTube, I can play Duolingo, I can play Connections, I can, I can do crosswords, I can listen to music, I can do whatever I want. I actually use my commute going to and from to like decompress after work. And it's one thing I found working from home during the pandemic was going straight from where I was working here to, stepping out of the room without any decompression was horrible. The fact I could decompress when commuting, it's actually something I really enjoy, commuting by train. Oh, final one I'll mention. This trend that's happening, apparently that ryokans are noticing, particularly in Kyoto, that Kyoto food, some people tell me that Kyoto food is the best food in Japan. It's nuanced and subtle and delicate and, elegant. It sucks. It's just bland. It's basically is the food where, from 800 years ago when there was no flavoring, no seasoning, and there was, Japan would have a famine every 2 or 3 years, and it's like they got a potato and they decided to just focus all their time on making the potato as attractive as possible. And yeah, it sucks. I don't like Kyoto food. Osaka food, totally different, but Kyoto food sucks. And the fact that all these ryokan, they have this food, which honestly it just isn't very good. And enough tourists now are now saying, we'll just stay at your ryokan, but can you not bring us the food? Enough places are now asking to not be brought food at these places because it's not very good. They are, a lot of ryokans are like needing to reinvent. A fundamental part of the Japanese in service is being serving a meal, but of course you've got to be there at a specific time. You have to accommodate the ryokan. Like they'll say, you have to be at 7:15 in the morning. You have to be ready, awake. We'll bring it in. We're going to collect it at this time. You have to move, but you have to be back by 5 p.m. so that you can have the terrible dinner that we've made for you. A lot of people are just saying F off. I just want to sleep. So which then leaves the ryokan staff wondering what they should do with the rest of the day, I guess. So they're trying to figure out, maybe they should serve McDonald's. Who knows? But I'm actually kind of for the idea of not being, you go to Kyoto, you want to go out and enjoy restaurants, right? At the very least. Not be held hostage, in your ryokan by their schedule having food. So that's what they've decided to do. And I think that trend is a positive. Yeah, and Kyoto food, some people love Kyoto food, Japanese people and Westerners, and if you like it, good for you, go stay on a ryokan. But for me, I would very much probably go for the not included option myself. I'm going to leave it there. Live stream, it's just a minute long. What should I live stream? The watch potato dono. It's just a minute. Okay, should I do a live reaction video to potato dono? Can you post the video again? I'm not. I can probably show it on screen. I can show it on screen. Okay, I'm going to post potato dono. I won't be able to share sound, and hell, I might get into copyright trouble for it. But I'm gonna reaction video. Post me the video. What's potato dono? Okay, 1 minute reaction video. If Aaron can give me the link, and I realize there's a 40-second lag. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Can I copy this? Can I copy it? I can't copy it off here. I've got to copy it off this. Okay, 1 minute. Let's do this. I think I've got to search for it because I can't copy using the software here. Potato dono. Okay, 1 minute. It's definitely this, right? Okay, I am going to share screen. Let's go here and let's present. Stop screen, present, share screen, window. Boom. Share. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Potato dono. This is it, right? Okay, the sound isn't coming through here at the moment, but that's fine. Oh, is the audio going through that? Maybe that's the thing. Okay, so I can't hear it. Wait, no, 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 don't do that. So this is potato ritual suicide. Okay, that was extremely disturbing. I'm gonna stop that and put this back. That was extremely disturbing. Thank you for sharing. That is a video for kids of a potato committing ritual suicide. Um, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go do the after party. I'll be taking requests. I'm going to set it up right away. So I think the link was posted up here a little bit earlier by Aaron. So I'll see you in a second over on Tokyo Digital Crew. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Remember, follow me on all the things. Have a great week, everyone.